Hi guys, I have a nice, strong, full body Pilates session for you today. No props needed, just you and your mat. This is suitable for all bodies, including our preggies. As always, lots of layers given throughout, so just stick with the level that's best for you today. I don't know about you, but I am ready to move my body this morning. So let's get going. We're gonna start at the back of your mat, feet directly underneath your hips. Just relax through those toes. Soft bend in the back of the knees, arms by your side. Now we'll start with a nice big inhale breath. Reach those arms up to the ceiling. Look towards those fingertips. And then exhale, reach those arms out nice and wide as you lower. Let's take 2 more there. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale, look to the ceiling as you expand that chest. Exhale, let it go. 1 more like that, guys. Inhale, reach those arms up nice and tall. And then as you exhale, your arms travel down. We're gonna start tucking that chin, rolling your body all the way down, nice and heavy towards the mat. Soften those knees a little bit more if you need to. Just relax that head at the bottom. We'll give it a little shake from side to side. Then we're gonna get straight into it, guys, without waddling your hips side from side. Bend your knees. Let's slowly walk it out. We're gonna find your high plank. So we have those hands directly underneath your shoulders, nice and long through those legs. Then we're gonna reverse it, come back the way you came. Bend those knees, walk those hands back in towards your feet, forward fold. Slowly make your way all the way back up to stand. Let's reach those arms back up towards the ceiling. And then arms travel back down as you tuck that chin. Let's fold that body all the way forward, hanging nice and heavy over those hips there. Take your time, let's walk it forward. Find that high plank position so you've got those hands underneath your shoulders, nice and long through those legs, strong through those shoulders. And walk it back up without waddling those hips too much side to side there, guys. Keeping nice and centered. And just continuing like that. Free-flowing movement here, trying to keep it nice and continuous now. So it's just a really brief pause in that plank before you scurry back up the mat, make your way back up. I'm gonna start to add on here. Next time you find that high plank, let's just pause there. We're gonna gently lower your knees down to the mat with control. Zipping up through that belly, we find a chest press. Bend the elbows, lower the chest to the mat. You then lift straight back up from there. Nice strong legs, you find that plank position. Then let's make our way back up from there. Bend those knees, roll that spine back up. Fingertips reach to the ceiling. And again, continuing like that. Chest press just an option, okay? You don't have to add that in if you don't want to. And you just bend those elbows as much as those shoulders will allow today. And you can pick up that pace a little bit too if you like. Really start to warm up through those shoulders, through that belly, through those legs. Making your way all the way back up. We're gonna go for 3 more like that. Should be feeling pretty warm now. Nice deep breaths. Stretch those legs long in that plank. Make your way back up. We've got 1 more like that. Dropping those knees with control, tucking that tailbone as you find that chest press. Stretch those legs out long, making our way back up. Rolling all the way to the top. Now this time, we're gonna roll ourselves down. We're gonna find your hover. So you have hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and we're really flattening out through that back. Tailbone reaching behind you, lifting up between those shoulder blades. Now we're gonna pike your hips. So hips to ceiling, chest come into thighs, drop those heels down nice and heavy. We're then gonna transition forward, back into that hover and hold it. Now you can either just stay with that hover hold, or we're gonna take a shoulder tap each side before you come back to hover, and then pike those hips back up to the ceiling, chest to thighs, drop those heels. And again, lowering down to that hover, you either just hold it or take that shoulder tap. 1 each side, pike it all the way back up. Control that descent, really flattening out your back before you take that optional shoulder tap. And then really embrace that stretch in the back of your legs as you rise. As you take that shoulder tap side to side, the goal is to keep your midsection really nice and steady. So trying not to sway dramatically, side to side. And zipping up through your belly, that's gonna help support that nice neutral spine. Let's go for 3 more like that. Dropping down with control. Nice steady taps. 2 more here. Lots of loading through those arms today. Hope you're ready for arm day. Last one, we're just gonna stay with those taps. Alternatively, if you just wanna hold your hover nice and strong and stable, you can. Let's go for 6 and 5, just for 4, 3, 2, last one. Both knees hit the mat there, guys. You can reach those arms out in front, Let's release those toes, send your hips back towards your heels, and just surrender into that child's pose there, relaxing that forehead down to the mat. Take a nice big expansive breath into that rib cage, and then exhale, let it all go. Let's take 2 more breaths there. Maybe reaching your fingertips a little bit further forward, particularly on the exhale, embracing that stretch in your chest. 1 more breath, and then let it all go. Brilliant. All right, coming up from there, give those wrists a little bit of a wriggle if they need it. We're coming to all fours, so hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's just take a little cat-cow just to set ourselves up nicely here. So rounding that spine to the ceiling, and then let it all go. Really lengthen your belly as you drop down. Let's go for 2 more like that, rounding up between those shoulder blades. Stretching out that belly. 1 more, really lift away from the mat. And then sink it down, broaden your hips behind you. And then let's settle in your neutral, okay? So lifting up between those shoulder blades, lengthening your tailbone back behind you, so finding that lovely neutral pelvis. All right, now from here, nothing else is gonna change, just your left leg. Let's take a nice long reach through that leg. You're gonna bend your knee back in just beneath your hip before it extends long again. So it doesn't quite come in contact with the mat. It just finds a little hover and then reaches out long. So, a bit going on here. Set yourself up for success. Really lift up between those shoulder blades, okay? So give yourself a nice solid base to work from there. And try and keep your hips really centered. So it's very tempting as that left leg moves to lean to the right. Try and stay in the middle and you'll get a better use of your core there. It's a really long reach, so reach with energy as you stretch that knee and point that toe. We're gonna go for 5 more here before we start to add on a little bit. In 4. In 3. We'll meet with that leg high in 2. Let's reach that leg out nice and long and hold it. Now your thigh stays high. You find a hamstring curl by bringing your heel to your bottom. Point that toe as you stretch that leg long, then bend that knee to return. Again, you find length through the leg. Let's find that hamstring curl, heel to bottom. Point that toe, stretch it away, bend the knee to return. So that's your sequence. Let's keep that going. Your focus here is really keeping the height through that leg as you find that curl. So try not to drop through the knee. And really bring that heel as close as you can towards your bottom. So you'll feel that connection in the back of that thigh, that hamstring. Let's go for another 4 here. And then we'll hold that leg up nice and high. In 3. Lifting up between those shoulder blades. You've got 2 more. All right, next time you reach that leg out nice and long, let's find that hamstring curl, heel towards your bottom. Can you get the leg a little higher? Let's pulse up from there. So lift and lift, teeny tiny lift and lower. Really focus on the up, not so much the down. That will just happen naturally. Lift for 6, 5, hold in 4, 3, 2. Let's hold that leg up nice and high. All right, we're gonna reach that leg out straight where it came from. Hold it there. Lift up between those shoulder blades. Maybe, little added challenge, can you reach your right arm forward? So right arm forward, left leg is back. We're gonna find a tiger curl, and as you do, we're gonna round your spine and bring your elbow to meet your knee beneath your belly, and then return where you came from, find your length. So your exhale breath, you find your curl. Inhale, you find your reach. So I really want you to embrace the rounding of your spine. The more you round, the better that tummy connection. And that exhale breath will really help that. You really push up and away from the mat, and then find that length and stretch. Let's go 5 here. In 4. You've got 3, and I'm afraid it's not quite over yet. In 2. Last one, let's find that reach through fingertips, through toes. Remember, you can drop the hand if you need to. Otherwise, let's pulse leg, plus or minus that arm, just for 8, 7, 6, 5. You've got 4, 3, 2. Hold it there. Now keep your leg as is. We're gonna lower that hand back down to the mat. Let's replace your toes down to the mat. We're gonna take a pivot to your left. So I want you to spiral yourself around. So you're gonna end up with your right hand under shoulder, right knee under hip, and your left leg is nice and long, toe on the mat. Okay, then from there, just square off. So start with that left hand on your hip so you can check that you're stacked and really open up across your chest. Remember, you can come down to your forearm at any point if you need to offload that wrist. Otherwise, staying up there, that left leg is going to lift away from the mat and tap back down. Lift and lower. Now, be really mindful, you're working hard through that underside hip here. So try not to collapse into the mat. Really lift and give that glute a bit of a squeeze to push your hip forward. It's going to help you stabilize. And don't panic if maybe your leg isn't going as high as mine, or maybe if it's going a lot higher. We're all going to look different here, depending on the mobility of your hip and the strength of those glutes. No matter how high you're going, let's think about moving with control. It's super tempting here to throw your leg for a bit of assistance. Let's move nice and smoothly as you lift and lower, and then maybe starting to reach that arm up to the ceiling. We're going to go for 4 here before we hold the leg up. In 3. You've got 2. Let's hold that leg lifted, point that toe. We're going to draw little circles. Now they're just about side plate size, so they don't need to be ginormous. And I know that leg's already burning quite significantly. Let's go 4 more this direction, then we'll reverse. In 2, in 1. Let's go the other way. Reach those fingertips to the ceiling. They serve as a good distraction from those legs. Let's go for 3, 2. Let's hold that leg up now from here. We're going to reach that left arm all the way over bicep by your ear. And then we're going to shorten that left waist as again you bring elbow to meet knee, and then lengthen and lift through your rib cage as you reach away. We're going to exhale as you bring the joints to connect, and then inhale as you reach away. So exhale, we shorten, and then inhale, we lengthen. So really think about that lift, like in your tiger curl, particularly through that left rib cage as you reach it away. And then that shorten, connecting those obliques as you bring elbow to meet knee. Now I know that right arm's getting pretty tired. Stay with me, it's not over yet. You've got 5 here, and then we're gonna hold that reach in 4. Reach, point through the toes. And 3. Last 2. Last 1, let's reach all the way out long now. Permission to lower those toes to the mat, excellent. Let's bring that left hand back to your hip now. Really lift up out of that right shoulder. Okay, now from here, really anchor that left foot down. Now nice and strong through that left side. We're gonna come into a side support. You're gonna slot that right foot in behind that left. All right, so nice strong position here. When they're gonna replace that right knee back down to the mat under your hip, float that left leg up and back down just as before. Anchor that foot, you slot behind, find that side support. And then lower that knee back down, and then lift and lower that left side. Okay, so step by step here. Staying really nice and active through that right arm, and set that shoulder away from your ear. And it's really important that hand is directly under your shoulder as well. If it's too far away or too close, too crowded, you won't feel like you've got a good support to work from. Now you might like to stay as you are, absolutely fine. Okay, if you'd like an add-on, we slot that foot behind, reaching that arm to the ceiling. We're gonna find a little pike. We lift the hips as you thread your arm underneath. You then lift the arm back up, lower that leg, and float the left. Anchor that foot down, slot behind. Let's find that pike. Lift the hips, thread that left arm through, control down, lower the leg, and we lift. Let's go for 3 more like that. Take your time, you know your options. And lower, and lift. You've got 2 more. If it feels tough, that's because it is. I know I'm sweating now. And lift. Let's go for 1 more. We're going to slot that leg behind. Find that optional pike, and then we're going to meet in that side plank position. If you prefer to lower that right knee down and lift that left leg and hold it, you absolutely can. Otherwise, I know you're in that plank, guys. Hold it strong. Let's just pulse those hips up and down. Up and down. Let's go 6. Just 5. 4. You can lower your gaze if you need. 2. Last 1. Gently make your way down to the mat, but stay facing the way you are. And we're gonna come into your Z sit. Okay, so you've got your right shin across the front of the mat. Left foot is behind. Bring that right foot to meet that left heel. Just pull that right butt cheek over to the side. Let's reach those arms out to a capital T, and we'll give that right arm a bit of relief. We're gonna cartwheel to the left. Left hand finds the mat. You reach that right arm over. Should feel really nice to open up through that underarm, that rib cage after that side support. Then we're gonna go the other way. So come up to your T, take it to the right. Right hand finds the mat. Lift up through that rib cage as you lengthen through that left side. Nice deep breath. And let's come up to your T and back over to that left side one more time. Really push your right underarm up towards the ceiling. Reach through those fingertips. And then coming all the way back up from there. Okay, now we're gonna take a pivot up onto your knees. So coming over, pivoting to your right. All right, then finding a high kneel position. Now from here, I'm gonna step forward with my right foot, so that's still my stabilizing side. And I've got foot directly under knee, and then my left knee is back under my hip. Curl toes under at the back, okay? Ready for takeoff. Now square yourself off through those hips. We're gonna carefully make our way up to stand, ideally without adjusting your feet too much. So you've really got that nice long stance, ready for our upright lunge. Okay, so square it off, push that left hip slightly forward. We're going to drop both knees down into your lunge position, 90-90, and then drive into the floor to lift. So let's check our shapes, check our angles. As you lower and lift, that right knee is above ankle, left knee is below hip, and chest is nice and upright. All right, you work with the depth that your knees will allow, that those quads will allow. As long as there's no nasty pain, you can lean into discomfort there, guys. Really work into that strong stretch of that left thigh. All right, so continuing. Those arms into play. As you lower, can you connect your fingertips behind your thigh? As you rise, connect your fingertips overhead. So we drop down, reach and tap, and then up to the ceiling as you rise. And let's keep that going. Should be feeling pretty warm through that left side now. But whatever depth you've found, try and keep it, don't shorten it. Let's go for 5 here before we add on. Joy, add-ons. In 4. You've got 3, in 2. Last one, drop it down low. We bring our hands to our hips in your lunge. So open up that chest, you shoot forward, your back leg is nice and straight. Then we're gonna drop back down to your lunge and rise back up from there. Okay, so you hit your lunge nice and low. Find rocket, stretch the back leg, drop back to lunge, and then rise back up. And let's just keep that flowing. You drop, shoot forward, back leg straight, sink back into that heel, up you come. Try it again, keep it nice and continuous. Don't spend too long at the top. Get straight back down into it. Hands to hips, so nice and broad across your chest. Step by step, we've got 4 more here. We're going to stay down in 3. And 2, keeping that chest up. Last one, hit your lunge, find your rocket. Now we're going to shift that weight forward into that front leg, so much so you can release your back toes, find that heel on the right, and then reach and tap that leg back. So we tap and reach, tap and reach. Now let's start to add some arms. We're going to bend the elbows in as the knee returns and reach it long. Limbs in, limbs out. Now there's no weight transfer through that left leg. It's nice and light as it taps in and out. Stabilizing really securely through that right leg. Knee is soft and kneecap is square to the front. Let's go 6 here. And then we're going to hold that toe alongside in 4. I know that right side is warm. You've got 2. Last one, let's hold it there. Bring those hands back to your hips. Left foot alongside that right heel. Can you get a little bit lower into those hips, or a lot lower, and pulse it down and down. Really think about sitting back and down into that right heel rather than into the toes. Let's go 8, 7, hold in 6. Ski slope down the back, 4, 3, 2, hold it down nice and low. Now we've got a little balance transition here. We're going to make our way all the way up to stand. Bring that left leg with you. Knee up above your hip ideally. Really stretch long through your right leg. Let's reach those arms all the way to the ceiling. Find a spot to hold your gaze. Now you can just stay there, or we're going to take a hinge, reaching those arms behind, hinging forward from the hips. Open your collarbones, lengthen that left leg, and let's just hold it there. Square off those hips, reach it long. Woo. Do as I say, not as I do. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up you come. Good job, guys. Give that right leg a decent little shake. Let's come back to the back of your mat. Actually, I'm going to turn myself around now. And we're going to give that right glute a little bit of love. So feet underneath those hips. Just let those arms go nice and floppy. We're going to tuck your chin, fold your body forward over those hips. Drop through the crown of the head. Let's scurry forward for the plank, but not for long. And then we're just going to bring that right leg across your mat. Foot to the left, knee to the right. Extend that left leg back. You can stay upright there, that might be plenty. Or you can make your way down to your forearms, rest your forehead to your thumbs, and embrace that stretch. Try not to collapse out of it. So stay active, pulling your right hip back, your left hip up towards your right heel. And then kind of melt into that stretch. Nice deep breaths. Remember, if that glute stretch is too much on your hips at any point or your knees, you can take your figure 4, crossing that right foot over the left knee, just opening up that chest there, pressing that knee away. You take little rocks there. That might be more comfortable for you. All right, we've got 2 sides to the body, guys. So we better even things up. So when you're ready, we're gonna make our way out of that pigeon. So just extending that left leg, curl your toes under, hands to the mat. Let's lift those hips to the ceiling as you bring your right foot back to meet your left. And we'll take a little walk there, bending one knee, dropping the opposite heel. Just embrace that stretch in the back of your legs. Last 2. And then drop both heels, and we're gonna fold those knees down to the mat. Just take a mini child's pose there. Hips to heels, reach those arms forward. If you need to give the wrists a little wriggle, go for it. And then let's reset. So we're gonna start with those hands back underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. Just take a little rock of that pelvis up and down. And then we should settle quite comfortably straight back into that neutral. All right, so lifting up between those shoulder blades. We've got to work hard a second round to really stay nice and set. Zip up that lower belly, it's right leg that reaches long. Knee bends in to hover and then straight back out again. So it's just that right leg to start while we get everything nice and sorted. So hips staying square, no leaning over to that left side, and staying lifted between those shoulder blades. Now remember, it's a long journey we're traveling here, so really stretch through that knee, point that toe, like there's a target just beyond reach that you're trying to just tap with that toe each time. Brilliant. We're gonna go for 5 here before we start to add that little hamstring curl into the mix. In 3, just for 2, all right. Let's meet with that leg out nice and long, hold it. Now it stays high as you bring that heel towards bottom, extend it long, then you bend to lower. So find the length, find that curl, point and reach, draw back in. So really think strong and long through your leg. If you've got a floppy leg in the mix there, it's not going to be doing a heck of a lot. You work as hard as you decide to work here. Get that heel nice and close towards that bottom each time. Again, every now and then just doing a body scan. What are your shoulders up to? What's that belly up to? Where are your hips sitting? It's a lovely distraction from the burn in the legs. Let's go 3 more and then we'll hold that leg up nice and high. In 2. All right, last one. Let's find that hamstring curl. All right, now we're gonna keep that curl. Can you lift that leg a little higher still? And then we're gonna pulse it from there. And lift, and lift. Remember, it's all about the up here. So you're creating that lovely little smile under your right butt cheek. Let's go 7, 6, hold in 5, 4, just for 3, 2, hold that leg high. Now again, we're gonna extend it nice and long, keep it there. Now you can continue to just focus on the leg, otherwise more challenge, we reach that left arm nice and long in front. We take that tiger curl, rounding spine, elbow meets knee, and then extend nice and long again. Use that exhale breath as you bring the joints to meet. Inhale to reach, and remember the rounder you get your spine, the better. And if you feel different, now that you've swapped sides, that's really common. I know I find it a bit harder to stabilize on this side. But wobbles, just make all those stabilizers communicate with each other, and then we improve our stability. All right, let's go 4 more here. Lift and lengthen. And 3, In 2. Last one, let's find that reach. Arm reaching long through the elbow, knee, toes reaching away from you, little pulses up and down. It can be just the leg if you need. Let's go 7, just 6, 5, hold in 4, 3, 2, 1. Now stay there through the leg. We lower the hand, toes find the mat, and then we take that pivot, so shuffle forward a little bit, pivot towards your right. All right, so you've now got right foot on the floor. Just adjust yourself so you've got that hand under shoulder, knee under hip, and lift those hips rather than collapsing towards the floor. You give your left glute a bit of a squeeze and that will drive that hip forward. Let's start with hand on hip just to monitor that we're nice and square. Okay, so that left leg starts to lift and lower. Okay, remember it doesn't need to go crazy high because you actually want to stay nice and stable everywhere else. So just focus on the movement through that leg, nice and long through that knee, and try and avoid the temptation to throw it. Now, as I mentioned before, if you start to feel strain in the neck, you can gaze down towards those left fingertips. That can help offload a little bit. And if that hip does tend to cramp in this position, you can drop down towards the floor a little bit, play around with hip position. Otherwise, try and stay really nice and stacked. We're gonna go for 5 here, and then we'll hold that leg up for our circles. Open that chest, maybe reaching those fingertips up towards the ceiling. It actually helps give you that nice vertical alignment. In 2, let's hold that leg up, guys. It's those side plate size circles, not many of them. Stay with me, I know they're brutal. Let's go 3, 2, 1, go the other way, up and around, for 4, 3, 2, let's hold that leg still. We're gonna find that reach through that right arm, bicep by your ear, before again we shorten, right side, elbow meets the knee, and then reach and lengthen, toe hovers just off the mat. So we shorten and then we really arch that right side body. Follow the movement of that elbow with your gaze. Exhale to shorten, to reach, you got it. As you reach it away, toes, but they don't quite touch the mat. Let's go for 5. In 4, lift out of that left shoulder. And 2. Last one, reach it all the way out there. We're gonna lower those toes down to the mat. We're gonna reach that right arm up to the ceiling. All right, let's anchor that right foot down, nice and strong, ready for those side supports. All right, we're gonna load up that right foot, that left arm as you slot left foot behind your right. You lower that knee back beneath your hip, find your lift of your right leg and lower it back down. And again, if you wanna bring your right hand to hip there, just to kind of check where you are in space, that can be useful. Otherwise, keep that arm reaching to the ceiling, preparing for those pikes and thread the needles to come. Brilliant. Might need a little bit more mental encouragement through your left shoulder, perhaps. Thinking lift, wrap that shoulder away from your ear. Now we're gonna start to add that pike if you like, guys. From that plank, you lift the hips, you thread that right arm underneath. Control as you lower to that side support, lower the knee, lift that top leg. Keep that going. So lots of options here, guys. You can just stick with the leg lift and lower if you prefer. Add the side plank, and then add the pike as that final option. All right, so not many more to go here, guys. So just breathe through it. You've done it on the other side. You can absolutely finish off strong here. Let's go for 3 more. And then we're gonna either meet in that side support or with your knee down and that top leg just lifted. Let's go for 1 more. Adding that pike. And then find that side plank, hold it there. Like I said, lower the knee, lift that top leg if you like. And then it's either the pulse. Let's go 7, 6. You've got 5, stay with me. 4, all the way to that last count. Last 2, last 1. And then slowly lower yourself down. Great work, legends. Find that Z sit. Okay, so this time you've got left leg across the front of the mat. You've got left foot meeting that right knee, right foot is behind, and just give that left butt cheek a little bit of a slide out towards the left. All right, let's reach those arms out to that T, give that left shoulder a bit of a reward. We're gonna cartwheel to the right, hand to the mat, reach that left arm up and over, so really open up through that rib cage, reaching long through those fingertips. And then via that T, lift up tall, we take left hand to mat, and then reach that right arm up and over, so really splay through your ribs. And then let's go over to that right side one more time. Up and over, hand hits the mat, lifting up through that underside. And then coming up from there. Fab. Okay, let's spin around to your left, coming to your high kneel again. So high kneel position. So left leg is still our loading leg for this set. So we're going to step your left foot forward, your right knee stays back. Now just check your alignment. You've got that foot under your knee, right knee under hip, curl your toes under behind. So we've got that nice long lunge stance in preparation. And then you rise without adjusting too much, okay? Now square off those hips, and as I say, and I just do, pull that right hip forward, chest stays upright. I'm going to start to drop that back knee down to the mat and then rise, really pressing through that left heel to find that lift, connecting in the back of that left leg. Controlling the down and up, nice smooth pace. Let's get those arms straight into it. We're going to reach, tap under the thigh and tap to the ceiling. So just connecting those fingertips and try and keep that upright posture as you get down low to connect those fingers under the thigh. Embrace that intense stretch through that right thigh and then distract yourself by focusing on the back of that left leg as you rise. Let's go for 6 here before we add that rocket. In 5, reach tall. In 4, whoop. In 3, last 2. We drop it down nice and low, connect those fingertips. Hands to hips, we hit your rocket. So you shoot forward, long line, crown of the head to your right heel. Drop that back knee back down into that lunge position and then rise back up from there. So let's drop it low. Hit that rocket, shoot it forward. Drop that back knee beneath your hip and rise. Try and keep that sequence going. Think of that length through that right leg every time you shoot it forward. Right up on those toes. Okay, you want that heel at the back well and truly clear of the mat. Otherwise, your ability to drop down into your lunge. Let's go for 3 more here. And then we're going to hold it forward in that rocket position. In 2. Last one, let's shoot it forward to that rocket. Now, transfer that weight into that front leg. Again, so much so that you can release the back toes. They tap alongside the left and then reach long behind. So we tap forward and back, opening up through those collarbones, stabilizing nicely through that left leg, reaching those arms forward, and then we add a pull and a reach. So limbs to center and away. Nothing else changes. So you stay the same height. Left leg stays nice and steady. Let's go for another 7 here. And then we meet with those toes alongside. In 5, can you get a little bit lower? Let's go for 4. Stay with me, 3. Last 2, balance in sight. Last one, let's hold those toes alongside. Now, can you get a little bit deeper still? Probably even deeper than that, yes. Open up that chest, let's pulse it down. Really get juicy through those legs. Sit back and down into that heel. Let's go 8 and 7. For 6, 5, just for 4. 3, you've got 2. Last one, all right, we're gonna come all the way up. We're gonna bring that right leg with us, guys, let's do it. Knee comes up above your hip. Okay, now find a spot, hold your gaze. Definitely helps. We're gonna reach those arms all the way up to the ceiling. Now that might be plenty, you might wanna hold that balance. Otherwise, let's find your hinge from the hips. Knee angle on the left doesn't change. Reach that right leg long behind along with your arms, tuck your chin. Can you lift that leg a little higher along with the arms? Really lengthen out through your spine. Brilliant, let's hold it here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, final 2, 1, and up you come. Good job, guys, you made it. A decent shakeout. Come to the back of your mat. Let's just give those shoulders a nice roll up and around for 3 and 2. Last one, and we'll take that fold. Chin to chest, hang down heavy like a rag doll. Soften the knees, just give that torso a nice sway side to side, lengthen the neck. Find center, we're gonna walk down via that plank, give that left side some love. Hands to the mat, we've got left shin across this time. So foot to the right, knee to the left. Slide that right leg back, and then find that stretch, settle into it. Okay, don't fall out of it. And then if you like, you can make your way down to those forearms, head to thumbs, and take some nice deep breaths there. Remembering again, as before, if you prefer, guys, for those knees, for those hips, there's always that figure 4, okay, crossing left foot over that right knee, opening up that chest here. Okay, so whichever takes your fancy. I never give up an opportunity to do a pigeon stretch. Embrace that. 2 more deep breaths there. And then bring those hands back to the mat. Curl those right toes under like we did before. Hover that knee. Let's reach your left toes back to meet it, hips to ceiling. Take that little pedal. Should be feeling really nice and free through the back of the legs now. And then drop both heels, soften the knees. We're gonna walk those hands to those feet. Just take your time. Keep that head heavy to the very last moment as you roll yourself all the way back up, setting those shoulders back at the top. Give yourselves a well and clap, guys. Thanks for joining me today.